Charitamrita Madhya Leela, second chapter, text 45 and through 46, 47, 48, 49 up to 50th verse, 45 to 50. But I just want to go one verse previous to 45, 44, and then we'll start from there. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalaka Chakshunmilitamena Tasmai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this chapter's name is Ecstatic Transformation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I guess this is the name of chapter. Ecstatic Manifestations of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And these first two chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita are very crucial because they are the summary of entire Madhya Leela and Anta Leela. Especially second chapter is a summary of entire Anta Leela. Because Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he was very apprehensive that he might die because of old age, and he was legally blind. He was very old. He was like 80, 85, something like that. And he had all kind of diseases. So he's explaining the ecstatic manifestation of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is what is the purpose of Chaitanya Charitamrita, by the way. Because all other informations are mentioned in other bibliographies of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but here he's talking about the love of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in his words and in his transformations in the body. So what he's saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Eta kahi sachi shuta shlok pade adbhut shune duhe ek man hoye. Apana hirday kaj kahi te vaishay laaj, tabu kahi laaj beej khaye. Translation, Prabhupada writes, thus speaking, the son of Srimati Sachi Mata recited another wonderful verse, and Ramananda and Swarup Damodar heard this verse with rapt attention. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I feel shameful to disclose the activities of my heart. Apana hirday kaj kahite vasi laaj. That's a Bengali. Nonetheless, I shall be done with all formalities and speak from the heart. Please hear. Tabu kahi laaj beech khaye. Now that's why I started from here, because this is the nature of love. The nature of love is shyness. Love which is not shy, that's not called love. Sometimes love of God is bold, but that's a very rare phenomena, especially in the case of Srimati Radharani. Otherwise, generally, devotees who love Krishna, they're very shy to disclose their love in public. That's the idea. That's why he's saying, I feel shameful to disclose the activities of my heart. But nonetheless, I am speaking. Please hear. So Mahaprabhu is speaking about love so that this word shall know what is love, and once you have information about love of God, then naturally you will be attracted to it, to attain it, to achieve that love of God. And that's why Mahaprabhu is taking this bold step and a risk to tell all of us what is love of God. It can be misinterpreted very easily, because love looks like lust and lust looks like love. But nevertheless, Mahaprabhu is speaking. Those who are qualified and who desire to associate with Krishna, they will understand love of God with the proper spirit. So, what does text 45 speak? This is a very nice verse spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he gives a commentary to his own verse. Text 45, Mahaprabhu says, Na prema gandho asti darapi me harau, krandami saubhagya bharam prakashitum, Vamshi vilasi anana lokanam vina bhibrami yat prana patangakan vritha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, he is saying, my dear friends, I have not the slightest tinge of love of God within my heart. Na prema gandho, that's the word used. Gandha means scent. Prabhupada writes in the two-word meaning. That's more appropriate. A scent of love of God. So Mahaprabhu is saying, I don't have even a scent of love of God. Asti dara api. Dara api means even in a slight proportion. That's love. If you have love, you will say you don't have it. If you don't have, then you will say I have it. That's a paradox. Those who say we have love of God, you should be sure and certain that they don't possess even a drop of love. Those who say we don't have love of God, you should be absolutely sure and certain that they have an ocean of love of God. And why is that? Why is that? Why devotees who are in pure love of God, they feel we don't have love? Because it's because I mean to say, you can say they are humble enough. It's because they don't want to disclose to this world that they have this treasure in their heart, because they are fearful that it can be stolen. That's how it goes. They don't want to disclose. And the previous statement we said, love is very shy. It doesn't want to disclose that we have love of God. That's one thing. But if you want to understand philosophically why people who have love of God, they say we don't have love of God. In fact, some acharyas, they say that you will never know that you have love of God. You will never know. Because if you have, you say you feel you don't have. So then how will you know that you have love of God? So why is that devotees feel we don't have love of God when they are in love, in pure love of Krishna? That's because they are seeing the situation from the eyes of Krishna and not from their own eyes. From the eyes of Krishna, whatever they love, they have, it's always insufficient. It's always insufficient. So, and when they see the whole situation from His eyes, then they feel we don't have love of God. The love which Krishna expects from us, we don't love Him in that proportion. And that's why they feel we don't have love of God. And it goes the same for service. The service what Krishna expects from us, the purity which Krishna expects from us, the devotee feels, I am not up to that mark of purity, of service, of love. And that's why he feels, I am useless. I don't have love of God. That's the idea there. That's why they say, I don't have a slightest tinge of love of God. When you see me crying in separation, I am just falsely exhibiting a demonstration of my great fortune. This verse of Srila Prabhupada used to quote a lot. That's why I am talking on this in his conversations. Krandami saubhagya bharam prakashitum. Krandami means whenever I am weeping. Saubhagya bharam prakashitum. I am showing and I am falsely aggrandizing myself and promoting myself that you see, I am in love with Krishna. That's the point. The point he's saying, when you see me crying in separation, you should know that I am a hypocrite. Another symptom of love of God is love blames itself. Love will never blame the other party. Love will blame itself. Lust blames others. But love will not blame. Love will always take all faults on oneself and never want any of the fault and blame to come upon his lover. That's another symptom of love. That's pure love. If suppose you fall down, if suppose a devotee falls down, then he says, oh my God, it's my fault, Krishna. And if devotee, he lacks in the service, he says, Krishna, it's my fault. If if something reverse happens in a life, some problems comes in a life, then we say, Krishna, is due to my own sins. A lover is trained to blame himself. That's the nature of love. And you see, in devotees who think they love, but they are not in love with God, what they say when they land up in problems, they say, why Krishna, this is happening with me? Isn't it? Many devotee people say, why God, this is happening in me, with me, in my life? That means they're blaming God. That means that's not love. That's not love. So, Mahaprabhu says, he's saying I'm a hypocrite. Don't think when I'm crying in separation, I'm having love. You should never think like that. You should think I'm a hypocrite. Vamshi vilasi anana lokanam vina. Indeed, not seeing the beautiful face of Krishna playing his flute, I continue to live my life like an insect without a purpose. This is the third nature of love. Mahaprabhu is saying, when I don't see the beautiful face of Krishna, still I am living. And that is, Prabhupada says, that's a proof that I don't have love of God. I'm a sinful man. Without Krishna, I'm living. That's due to sins. That's not due to pious credits. That's due to sin. You live without Krishna. Such a beautiful love. Another symptom, another characteristic of love is love always condescends oneself. So you understand what's condescending? Condescending means, how do we explain? Is there any synonym for this?
Lesson in value.
Yeah, lesson in value. Yeah. Love will always try to lessen one's value. Put oneself down. That's the idea. Put oneself down. I'm a sinful man. So that's love. These three characteristics of love separates itself from lust, and that's the topic which is happening here, which is going on. Lust will always boast. Lust will always blame others. Lust will condescend others, put others down. After blaming, it will put others down. But love is just the opposite. Love is always shy. It will never boast. Love will never blame the lover. Love will blame oneself. And love will always condescend oneself. That's love. That's spontaneous. That's how love works. And now Mahaprabhu, 46 to 50 verse, he is giving a commentary on this. And it's a beautiful commentary in Bengali. That was the style of Mahaprabhu. He used to sing one verse and give a commentary on that. Commentary, I'm saying commentary, but he used to sing that verse and then relish that verse. So whatever he's speaking from 46 to 50 verse, that's how he's relishing the verse what he just quoted. So Mahaprabhu is, in other words, teaching us how to relish the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam or any other devotional verses. He's relishing it, and Mahaprabhu is saying, Dure Shudh Prem Gandh Kapata Premera Bandh Seha Mor Nahi Krishna Paye Tabe Je Kari Krandan So Sabhage Prakhyapan Kari Iha Janina Nishchay. Prabhupada's translation, actually my love for Krishna is far, far away. This is another characteristic of love, hopelessness. You see, it is said, Bible says love is light. Mahaprabhu says love is darkness. It's different. It's a different way to approach love. I am the light, the way, what they say, Christ says, I am the light, the way and the truth, isn't it? I am the light, the way and the truth. So Mahaprabhu says, I am the darkness. There's no way here, it's hopelessness. And it's all false, whatever I'm speaking. It's all Hypocrisy. Actually, to see God in a positive light, that's one way to approach Him. But a much, much faster way to approach Him, and a secret way, is to see darkness. That's a secret way which Mahaprabhu came to give us, which very few people understood. So he says love means, the nature of love is hopelessness. The nature of love is not hope, in strict sense. That's why Mahaprabhu is saying, actually my love for Krishna is far, far away. It's far, far away. Whatever I do is actually an exhibition of pseudo love of Godhead. It's all dark, it's all negative, isn't it? It's all negative. And that was the secret of Mahaprabhu. He said negativity will lead you to God much faster than positivity. If you're in that frame of mind of negativity, as far as you are concerned, and Bhaktivedanta used to say, positive, they repel, isn't it? And negative and positive, they attract. So if you become negative, then you will be attracted towards positive, Krishna. And that's the way to approach God. So actually he says, my love for Krishna is far, far away. Whatever I do is actually an exhibition of pseudo love of Godhead. When you see me cry, I am simply falsely demonstrating my great fortune. Please try to understand this beyond a doubt. That's why very few people could understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because they couldn't really accept and digest this, that negativity is a way to approach absolute truth. They couldn't. The secret lies in darkness and not in light. They said, wow, this is a new information. What's this? That's why it is said, what's that? Namo Mahavadanyaya? And a different verse. The Chaitanya says, Anarpita chiram chirat. What was not given any time before this, in the lifetime of Brahma, now Mahaprabhu is giving that. Now what was not given? Many acharyas, many saints, they said you have to love God. Love of God was spoken even by Christ and Muhammad, even by the Vaishnava acharyas. It was not a new thing. But what was new is how to approach that love. That was new. The technique to approach that love of God. That was very new. And that was very startling and very contradictory, because Mahaprabhu said the technique is to become negative within oneself. That was a technique, and Mahaprabhu came to teach us. And now he says, 47th verse, he says, even though I do not see the moon-like face of Krishna as he plays on his flute, and although there is no possibility of my meeting with him, still I take care of my own body. You see such kind of hopelessness? Even though I do not see the moon-like face of Krishna, and there is no possibility of my meeting him. He's not saying that there is a slight probability of meeting him. No, he says there's absolutely no possibility, because I think I'm a sinful man. Now this kind of dejection, what else? Despondency. You know that word? Despondency. And this kind of hopelessness, that is what is required in our consciousness. And what he says, I do not see the moon-like face of Krishna. So, and then there is a beauty there in front of you of Krishna. The whole ocean of positivity. But that positivity is with Krishna, not with you. That's the idea. You see, if you think properly, if you think positivity is with you, that's lust. Isn't it? For devotees, everything nice is with Krishna. That's the idea. And everything bad is with me. Us. And that is how the devotion is all about. Everything good is with Krishna, everything bad is with me. If you can hold this thought in your consciousness, that is Krishna consciousness. If you can hold it through days, through months, your entire life. And actually, it's not difficult to hold it because we are really bad, isn't it? It's not that we are. Mahaprabhu is in humbleness, he's saying I'm bad. But as far as we are concerned, we are really bad. So it's easy to accept I'm bad, and it's very easy to accept Krishna is good. So it becomes easy. But if we try to think I am good, then it's very difficult to hold this. So Mahaprabhu is giving an easy process, not a difficult one. Still I take care of my own body. He's saying, although there is no possibility to meet Krishna, still I take care of my own body. That is a way of lust. In this way I maintain my fly-like life. That's the way of lust. So what's the proof we are lusty? What's the proof? What's the proof we are lusty? We are running after females, or that's the proof? No, that's not the proof. That's the proof that we are lusty is that we are alive. That's what Mahaprabhu says. We are alive without Krishna. This is a proof we are lusty. And no matter how much pure you become, still you are lusty because you are alive without Krishna. It's beautiful, huh? It's actually, this is devotion. This is called humility. This is called, for us, humbleness is accepting reality. For them, humbleness is actually reality of separation. It's not illusion. It's reality, but it's born of separation. For us, humbleness is actually, for us humbleness is very obvious. It's not something born of separation. It's very obvious. We are nonsense. So, then Mahaprabhu continues 48. Love for Lord Krishna is very pure, just like waters of Ganges. So that's the idea. The idea of devotion is always glorify Krishna and never glorify yourself. That's how love works. Do all actions in such a way that Krishna is glorified and you're not glorified. That's the way of love. Love for Lord Krishna is very pure, just like waters of Ganges. That love is an ocean of nectar. Sei prem amritera sindhu. That pure attachment to Krishna does not conceal any spot, which would appear just like a spot of ink on white cloth. This is the love. Nirmal se anurag. Love is very pure, just like a white cloth. Na lukaye anya dag. And any fault will be very obvious when you are on the path of love. Sakala vastre jaiche masi bindu. That's the idea there. Unalloyed love for Krishna is just like a big sheet of white cloth. Absence of attachment is compared to black spot on that white cloth. You see? Just as black spot is prominent, so absence of love of God is prominent on the platform of pure love of Godhead. That's the idea there. So if you're on the path of love, as we are on the path of devotion, we call it as path of devotion, but this is also called as path of love. It's called as Pushti Marg. In that path, any activity which takes you away from Krishna, any thought which takes you away from Krishna, it is like a black spot on that path. And everybody can see it. All angels, all demigods, and Krishna. That means you can't hide it. That's the idea. You can't hide any fault on this path. It will be very obvious to everybody around you. I mean, all the demigods and Krishna, it will be very obvious. So that is why devotees on the path of pure love of God are very careful. But on the other hand, these black spots on that white cloth, I mean to say there will be many, many black spots, isn't it? Because we'll fall down many, many times. It's not easy. But those black spots will also be a matter of glory when you go back to God. Why? Why is it? Why is it? It's a matter of shame for us, isn't it? So many black spots, so many times we fell down. But when you really go back to Krishna, it will be a matter of glory, because people will say, oh my God, he fell so many times and nevertheless he made it. You see, that's glory, He fell so many times that we were absolutely sure he will never make it. But he did. He's so great. So it will become a matter of glory. So that's how love works. It's like both ways. It's like love is contradictory in nature. It's like hopelessness, but at the same time there is hope. When we see Krishna, there is a hope. It's like black spots. It's a matter of shame, but it becomes a matter of glory after you achieve Krishna. And then 49th Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Shuddha Prem Sukha Sindhu Pai Tar Ek Bindu Sei Bindu Jagatu Dubai. He says, unalloyed love for Krishna is like an ocean of happiness. So you see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not just always engrossed in thoughts, I am insect, I am useless, I am hopeless. It's not just one, it is not just the negativity of oneself which we are focusing. It's both. We are also focusing on positivity of Krishna. Both has to be done simultaneously, otherwise you'll become a psychiatric patient. You'll go in depression. I'm useless, it's hopeless what to do. You'll be sitting in one corner and, I don't know, you'll scare people and yourself. So it should be both. And that is why we have to be careful on this path. And that's why Upanishad says this path is like walking on an edge of a sword. Slight mistake, you'll cut yourself. So you have to do both. We have to balance both. And then it becomes a perfect combination. And we advance very quickly. So he says, unalloyed love for Krishna is just like an ocean of happiness. If someone gets one drop of it, the whole world can drown in that drop. If the whole world can drown in love of God, we are forced to think, what about us? We are not drowning. Whole world drowns and except me. Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Asura Sakala Paila Charana. Everybody achieved your lotus feet, even demons in Krishna's pastimes. And then Thakilo, what's that? Paila Charana? Bhakti Vinod. He says, Bhakti Vinod. He says, but I am left. How does that work? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is weeping on his misfortune. Asura Sakula Paila Charana Vinoda Thakur Bosi. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I am left. Except me, everybody went to you. So that's the idea. It is not befitting to express such love of God, yet a madman must speak. But even though he speaks, no one believes him. So love of God. Tathapi baule kaye kahile ve keva pati aaye. Baule means madman. So Mahaprabhu says, love will make you mad. That's another symptom of love. Love will make you mad. Mad in the sense that a lover of God will speak in such a way that his words will appear contradictory to ordinary public. Will appear mad in the eyes of common man. But really, if anybody who actually is also lover of God, he will understand, yes, this is a more sensible thing he's talking. Otherwise, he will appear mad. That's love. In this way, 50th, in this way, Lord Chaitanya used to revel in ecstasy day after day and exhibit these ecstasies before Sarup and Ramanujaya. Actually, this is a way to attain Krishna. Completely be immersed in the ecstasy of what should I say? In the ecstasy of contradictions. That's how it goes. The contradictions with Krishna, contradictions in oneself, I have love of God, but at the same time I don't have. And this will occupy your mind and it will produce a sweet ecstasy day after day. Externally, there appeared severe tribulations as if suffering from poisonous effects. This is a beautiful line. This is, everybody should remember, this is called love. Bahye visha jwala hoye, bhitare anandamaye. Krishna premer adbhuta charitra. This is love. Externally, love is like poison, visha jwala hoye. Bhitare anandamaye. Inside it is very cold and very nice and happy. Bhitare anandamaye. Externally it's a poison, internally it's a nectar. So again it's contradiction, isn't it? Poison and nectar both. And that's why love, the nature of love is to absorb your mind. It will absorb your mind. But you have to give your mind to Krishna. That's one thing. Illusion is there to always distract us, but that's called love. Bhaiye visha jwala hoye, bhitare anandmay, Krishna premer adbhuta charitra. This is the wonderful characteristic of transcendental love of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada is saying. So having read all these things, actually you see, 51st verse, Mahaprabhu says, if one tastes such a love of God, he can compare it to hot sugar cane. When one chews hot sugar cane, his mouth burns, yet he cannot give it up. This is called love. A hot liquid. You can't give it up because it's sweet, but nevertheless it's hot. It burns you. So it is said by one of the poet, and he says that let love injure you, and don't heal that injury, because that's the entry point where Krishna will enter your heart. So beautiful. I don't know. It's a beautiful saying. Similarly, lust also injures us. It will injure your soul. And if you have this realization, it will injure your soul permanently. And that's very painful. Similarly, love also injures. It's painful, but it's painful in a different sense. It's painful, but it's sweet pain. Similarly, if one has a little bit of love of God, he can perceive its powerful effects. It can only be compared to poison and nectar mixed together. And then Mahaprabhu goes on to speak some verses. But the idea of all these verses is to help us appreciate the nature of love of God. Now, having read this, we can have some idea of what is love of God, a glimpse. But if you really want to know what is love, you have to experience it. There is no other perfect way to know what is love before experiencing. And that's why Upanishad says, Achinte khalu bhava. Love of God and Krishna are inconceivable. We can know them to a certain extent through what Mahaprabhu explains. And this explanation was never given by any of the acharyas. Nobody even dared to explain love because there are very high chances to misinterpret this. Very, very high chances. And that's why when Mahaprabhu was there, even in his presence, many Sahijyas and Upper Sampradayas began. Even in his presence, the message was being misinterpreted, and there was a complete mess when Mahaprabhu was there, complete chaos. We get this information from books. But nevertheless, Mahaprabhu put it out, and qualified people will understand this. The more you read it again and again, the more you are forced to meditate on it, and the more you are attracted to have it. The more you are attracted to have it. And the desire to have love of God, that is like, that is like 99% of your sadhana. That's all. 1% is a process which we are practicing. 99% is a desire to attain love of God. So how we will desire to attain love? When we will know the subject matter, isn't it? If you don't know somebody, you don't desire to have him or her. First you have to know that person, and the more you know that person, the more you desire to be with him or her, And that's the same with love of God. And that's why Mahaprabhu gave this explanation of love of God, even though he was unwilling, he gave it. So remember that 99% of Krishna consciousness is a desire to have love of God. 1% is a process. So don't be satisfied with the process only. That will be a very bad situation. We'll not be able to make it. It's anyway, illusion is anyway so strong, so it's difficult. So let's bank on the desire part. And the process part will automatically happen. If you have desire to attain love of God, then process to follow the process will be very easy. But to have that desire to attain love of God, that's the challenge. You will not get it. Rupa Goswami says, it's very difficult to have desire to attain love of God. But if you do get it, just take it. And how do you get it? You get it by association of good devotees who have the desire. Even a glimpse of that. Be with them. Because desire to love God is actually contagious. It's transmitted from one person to another person. It's always like that, isn't it? That's like, what's that saying? A man is known by the company he keeps. You tend to become like the friends you have. And that's a very fast way. If you have devotees who want to attain love of God, at least a glimpse, then you will get that. You'll get it. And then the process becomes very easy because the process is just 1% part. So we have to remember that. And the only way to get desire to love of God is Chaitanya Charitamrita Ante Leela. Read that. Read this. This Mahaprabhu is speaking for us. He's not just speaking for himself. Of course, he's relishing, but the whole idea of doing his past, I mean to say, he could have relished it somewhere else, in a jungle. Nobody would have known. But he relished it and he opened it and he made it public for us. Otherwise, it would have been hidden. That's all. Known to nobody. So he made it public so that we should know. And then the more you know, the more you desire. Then the more you know, the more you tend to think, what is this love of God? It's a different kind of stage of consciousness. I want to go there. I don't want to go in this messed up consciousness of this material world, where there's simply frustration, anxieties, fear, sorrows, confusion, complete anarchy. It's a messed up situation. I want to go there, where there is Krishna. And that's the way to advance. Otherwise, we'll just be in a ritual of Krishna consciousness. But we don't want to be there. It will not give you satisfaction of your heart. And neither it can make you inspired to go your entire life. It's not a joke. We have to go entire life in Krishna consciousness. And there'll be big ups and big downs. But nevertheless, you have to keep on going. And what will help us keep on going? The process? No, not just the process. Not just the process. It's a desire to attain Krishna that will keep us going. Okay, so I think I'll stop here. Any questions? I'll just end it. Yeah.
Prabhuji, in the very beginning of the class, you were mentioning that we might get the sense of despair for never meeting up with Krishna's expectation of love. So is that more of the devotee's feeling, or is it really that Krishna's expectation is so high beyond our capacity? And if so, why is it like that?
Krishna's expectation is infinite because he's infinite. Everything is connected to him is infinite. And that's a big problem. And because we know that everything is infinite with him and his expectations are infinite, that's why devotees can never meet his expectation, technically, logically it can't happen. That's why devotees feel this despondency and despair, and they'll keep on feeling like that eternally. But in other words, it's also sweet because Krishna's expectation is infinite, and it's sweet because our Krishna is like that. The idea of love is not to be interested in oneself. That's the whole idea, to come out of oneself. So he is infinite and we relish in this, and we revel in this fact. Even if we cannot attain Krishna, that doesn't matter at all, in one sense.
Yeah, so there's never the point that, okay, now I've had it.
Yeah. There's never the point. Okay, any other questions there? In comments, there are questions? So, yeah.
Yeah, one more thing about this, as you also mentioned that devotee fears that the love would be stolen. So how could that be?
Krishna can steal everything.
Oh, so it would be Krishna who would be stealing our love for Krishna.
Krishna and his Maya also.
Oh, yeah.
Illusion Maya is expert in stealing. So she can destroy our love by her own hands. So that's the way love can be stolen. She knows how to steal. She has learned the art of stealing from Krishna. So she is perfect in that. But then Krishna can steal it back from Maya and give it to us. That can also be done because he is more expert than her.
Krishna is by our side.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Fine. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki